Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Locker Room Talk Uncut. I am Drew Garrison in the locker room with Chad Penrod. Today we're going to discuss UFC 248, a couple of heavyweight matchups in the NBA that took place over this weekend, another interesting move from the Cleveland Browns, and we're also going to get into the coronavirus and the impact that it is having on sports, actually with some breaking news that we just saw right before we turned the mics on. So, Chad, let's get this thing rolling. I want to start off talking about the Los Angeles Lakers actually this weekend. Friday night, taking on the Milwaukee Bucks, getting the win out, and then playing the Los Angeles Clippers on Sunday and finally getting a win against them. Did you happen to check out any of those games?
Yeah, I watched both of them. Man, great outing, from the Lakers. Particularly LeBron James, man, showing that the old man still got a pep in his step there, didn't he?
D'ing up Giannis, driving at Giannis. A lot of the shit that I've talked to you about where it's like, okay, he plays these certain guys, the Giannis's of the world, the Kawhis of the world. He doesn't want to drive. He wants to shoot. But, man, he put clamps on Giannis. He drove on Giannis. He got to the line on Giannis. He did a lot of the things that I've been wanting to see from him in that game, so that was really refreshing.
It's kind of like, though, you and I have talked before, LeBron's going to be there when the playoffs start. The only question that LeBron and the Lakers are going to have is AD going to show up? Is LeBron going to have help? Because, believe me, LeBron James is going to ball. And, you're a Lakers fan. You should be excited about those two wins because those are the two biggest wins of your season thus far. But just keep in mind, obviously, we've talked about this. They are regular season games.
Well, that's what I want to talk about.
And the Lakers and the Clippers, that's a rivalry game. We've talked about this before. Both of those teams are playing to win that game. There's no waiting around. Both teams are definitely trying to win that game. So I'm not trying to discredit anything the Lakers did this past weekend because you beat Giannis, then you beat Kawhi and Paul George. I mean, those are great wins, and I give them credit where credit's due. That shows me, they're going to, the Clippers aren't just going to run through them.
But that's what I want to talk about. I don't understand why the Clippers at full strength will drop a game to a team like the Kings or the Pelicans, and everybody's like, it's the regular season, who cares? But then the Lakers and Clippers play two times before the All-Star break, and it's all, the Clippers are too deep. We told you they're going to beat the Lakers. They got nothing for them. See, blah, blah, blah. But now the Lakers turn around, they beat the Clippers, and everybody's like, well, calm down. It's just the regular season. It's getting flipped.
No, because what you're going through right now is what I went through for years. When you have LeBron James on your team, the hate's going to come.
It just doesn't. It's just weird how quick that narrative flipped because it was just all posts about the Clippers are too much and they're too good and they're too deep and they've got all these guys. But now the Lakers get a win in a hard fought game. It's like, it's just regular season. Calm down. Like, what the fuck is going? Wait a minute.
No. Those are two big wins. Both teams tried to beat the Lakers at their best. Then it's just like last night. The Lakers lose one to the Brooklyn Nets.
That was bad.
I'm just saying these are regular season games, especially the Bucks. Now that game, I'm kind of like they're 8 games up in the East. They can lose a few games. I mean, Giannis hasn't even been playing. Bledsoe and Middleton didn't play last night, along with Giannis. Now that rivalry game, of course, you want to be hype about that, but. It is regular season games. It is 2 very good wins. This is still wait and see come the playoffs. The Clippers, I don't think that they've been completely healthy, and I think that they're only going to gel more, when everyone is playing. I think they're about to go on a run where, there's no more minutes restrictions or just chilling. So I think they're going to gel a little bit. That being said, I fully think now that the Lakers can beat them, but you're going to have to get efforts from LeBron James like that day in and night in and night out.
Yeah, and to the AD point, the play that they ran last night at the final buzzer that I was up at 1 o'clock in the morning watching.
He has to hit that though.
He does. But I think that was designed for LeBron to get to the rack. There was 3 guys there. I get it. He made the right play. AD's got to hit that. And I was looking at some numbers. AD has put up pretty good numbers all year, but his fourth quarter numbers aren't very impressive. I don't have them in front of me. But
he seems to disappear a little bit come the fourth quarter.
That is what's going to have to get fixed because in the Bucks game, I was talking to you. I said, okay, it looks like Giannis doesn't have that solidified second starter, that second guy that they can go to. Middleton's up and down. He's streaky.
If you get Middleton on a good night, you got a real good second player. But he like you said, he's streaky.
So that was a good win. They have the best record in the league. I think they're up on the Lakers by maybe 3 games with the loss last night. I think it was 2 going into last night. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But the Clippers game is the one that I think matters more. There's more of a narrative to it.
Yeah,
Skip Bayless now loves Kawhi Leonard again. I don't know if
it's because he hates LeBron James.
I didn't even know this. I was talking to Tyler Barnhart last night. He texted me about the games and shit, and I was like, "Wait, doesn't Skip Bayless hate Kawhi? He was always number 2. This is number 2."
Right.
I guess a few months ago, like 20 games into the season, he showed up wearing a Kawhi jersey and said, "My Clippers," and we're back.
He's all about it now.
That just shows how disconnected I am from his bullshit.
Yeah,
but I won't slam Skip Bayless too much.
And kind of going back to the last night's game a little bit there. I can't imagine AD has great numbers from the 3-point. I don't think it's terrible.
He was 4 of 8 last night.
Well, I'm talking about in general throughout the season. I don't know, but
better than your average big, but not great.
Yeah, but I would imagine it's not great. And if I'm Brooklyn, I think they did the right thing. I think you come down on LeBron James, don't give him that easy layup, and if Anthony Davis can hit a 3 and beat you, then you just live with that. And I thought that was a great for them to know that. All right, we got to come down on LeBron. Well, I don't know if you want to give him that wide open of a shot because he should have hit that. He was wide
he had
open.
to hit that.
But I think you live with that if he makes that because, like I said, I don't think he's terrible. He's definitely not terrible, but he's definitely not great. So I think you kind of live with those chances there.
Yeah, you're right. And looking at the Clippers game more than anything, I guess that showed me something. But I'm thinking, in the playoffs, how often am I going to get 24 out of Avery Bradley?
Yeah,
it took that.
Yeah, no, I definitely, and it's kind of like a lot of people. Shannon Sharp actually that they're going to need that third person. Is it going to be Avery Bradley? Is it going to be Rondo? But they're going to need somebody outside of LeBron and AD, who I actually think AD's got to play big too. But they're going to definitely need a third person.
Yeah,
to step in and help them out, whether that's Kuzma or like I said, Rondo or Avery Bradley.
Fuck Rondo.
So yeah, I mean that's just that's going to be big for them.
And Kuzma has been better in his new role because when they got Markieff Morris, he's more of the backup power forward now. But Kuzma's been better in that role. I don't know if I'm going to get 24 out of Avery Bradley. So it was a good win. I was glad to see it, but I still have my
I will say the one thing while we're on the subject of Lakers and Clippers, the one thing that bugged the shit out of me is you had the people on Facebook and Twitter going at it with the Morris brothers. Oh, Markieff outplayed Marcus. What's so? And it's like you look at which he did. But you look at Markieff's status, and he had 4 points and 5 rebounds.
Yeah, it's not like he blew him away. But
that ain't hard.
Marcus shot like 0 and 9 or something.
Yeah, I mean, a very rare day for Marcus Morris, and you got to think that he's not going to play that bad every time either. So there's things that can change, but like I said, you cannot take away the win from the Lakers, especially that one. If you want to make the Bucks, there's so many games up in the East.
Right.
The 1 seed's pretty much clinched up. I would get that, but not this rivalry game. That was a great win for the Lakers.
And they needed it mentally, I think. And
they needed to beat both those teams.
Yeah, and they're going to play the Clippers again. They're done with the Bucks. They split with the Bucks 1-1. Yeah. They're going to play the Clippers again. I believe that rescheduled game for after the death of Kobe is on April the 9th. So
might not be any fans when they play that, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about there.
So we'll keep an eye on that. But I'm glad for the Lakers. I'm just sick of the fucking people. And this is my first time. I'm not going to take too much more time on this, but this is my first time really experiencing this because the Lakers were out of the playoffs.
You guys are now the Warriors. How you always call them the fake dynasty, and I'm not disagreeing. We can get into that later. But everyone hates them.
I guess
that's the team everyone's got to hate now. Welcome to the party.
It was just weird. I didn't go through it last year, so I'm learning that, and I'm not a LeBron stan, as I've said several times. So
that's where the hate comes from.
Yeah, and I'll have to learn how to deal with that. So we'll follow that more. NBA is going to keep ratcheting things up and getting more and more serious. We'll have plenty of coverage on that. So let's move on to the NFL here. Another slightly surprising move by your Cleveland Browns, and we actually hit on this a couple episodes, and it was kind of in talks but not official, but they have released linebacker Christian Kirksey. Is it Kirksey?
Kirksey. We used to call him Kirko.
Kirko, okay. So they have released him, and actually I think he went on a visit to the Raiders today, if what I saw was correct. So
we want to go play that in Las Vegas.
So, what are your thoughts on that, man? He was. I know you were a fan of his, but I'll let you kind of get into your point of it. I don't know too much about him.
Well, no, I'm not surprised at all. I actually think this is a move that needed to be made. I know it leaves the Browns kind of thin there at linebacker, but the more surprising one would be the Schobert one, which we talked about that last episode with the money. But in the last 2 years, Kirko, and this is for Bengals fans, has only been on the field as long as AJ Green. Both of them have only played 9 games, and you guys felt like you haven't had AJ in forever. And the same here, and the Browns owed that guy upwards towards $8 million this year for a guy that can't stay on the field. I think this is absolutely the right move. If Browns fans, if I understand he was a leader, I get that, but how much can you lead when you're not on the field?
Right.
I get that, if fans want to be mad about Joe Schobert, totally understand that, but I don't think that you guys should be mad at all about this Kirko, getting released. I think it was time. I actually made a tweet about it. I said that, we were never winning with these guys. Something's always fucked up. The only guy that should be safe on that defense is Myles Garrett, and Denzel Ward. So that's where I'm at with it. I think that the Browns are going to hit free agency hard. I think they're loading up on this money. I think they got towards $70 million now, or maybe it's a little less than that. But they're expected to release Olivier Vernon, who
$15 million
are going to come off the books there. And what I was reading was it looks like they're going to go hard at a guy that I mentioned last episode. I wanted Everson Griffin, who's got that Minnesota Vikings tie there with Stefanski. And I would absolutely love that. He would be cheaper, and I think we would get more production out of him. Back to Kirko though, man. Loved him. He was Cleveland to the core. He was actually the longest reigning Brown on the team up until he got released. But you got to stay on the field. The best ability is availability, and if you're not on the field, what good are you doing to the team? They got two rookies that they drafted last year. Mac Wilson, who I don't know, I think I've said this before, but you absolutely love Mac Wilson.
He's all over the place, especially in the preseason, but he even came on in the regular season.
Oh, yeah, Mac Wilson balled out, and they're going to need to either, go after a Corey Littleton or somebody, maybe they trade up and get Simmons in the draft. I don't know. But if not, you got Taki who they drafted last year in the later rounds.
Badass name.
And he balled out in college. So I don't know if that's the direction they're going. I don't know. But as far as getting rid of Kirko, like I said, loved the guy, but it was time. Some of those guys you gotta be willing to part ways with, and he's one of them.
Yeah, and that's the AJ Green comparison. They've played the same amount of games. $8 million for a linebacker that showed flashes but was never like a dominant linebacker. This isn't.
He was good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
I'm not discrediting him. I just think that there's a difference in that than like, okay, well, we'll still pay AJ Green because he's AJ Green.
Yeah.
But I can understand, if they couldn't restructure the deal or whatever the case was, letting him go and moving on. I was kind of curious as to what you thought their plan was for linebackers, so I'm glad you hit on that. My take from it is going to be the same take that I have on any team that releases a linebacker, any linebacker that becomes a free agent. Cincinnati needs to call him.
Did you see my argument on there with
Goodberry?
What is he talking about?
I want to say that I am a Joe Goodberry fan. He writes for The Athletic. He hosts Locked On Bengals, a podcast. I
Go
like
on Twitter
him.
and check this argument out.
I like him a lot, but this take I don't get.
He said, this is what he said. He said that the Bengals should throw money at, or the Bengals should go get Kirksey. Absolutely, they should. But then he said Kirksey would come in as the third linebacker on the Bengals. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't care if he's been injured for 2 years. You come in, you're better than Nick Vigil, and you're going to be better than Pratt.
I think you're better than Nick Vigil.
Yeah, I have no idea what that dude was saying. Like you said, as a one of the smarter Bengals fans I know, and there's not many of you. But
easy now.
But You want any linebacker. You want Joe Schobert. You want Kirksey. You want Littleton. You want those guys. But to say Christian Kirksey's going to come in and be the third linebacker, dude, what the fuck were you smoking?
Yeah, and he was talking to effectively because the Bengals will run a scheme where there's only two
almost like a
linebackers.
nickel linebacker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like a nickel linebacker situation. So I guess I kind of understand what he was saying on that point, but he's not going to be – he's going to – if he's – let's say that he signed right now and nothing else happened, he's the best linebacker on the team.
Absolutely. He's your number one linebacker, not your number three.
Jermaine Pratt showed a lot of flashes. He also showed a lot of where he's very raw and needs a lot of improvement. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Goodberry, but I can see some of the logic I think he was trying to but I just don't think that it's correct.
Yeah, he was like, this is why you're a Browns fan. I said, no, this is why you're a Bengals fan. We went back and forth there. But
I like when you argue with people on Twitter. I'm not very good at Twitter. You're a good Twitter guy, though.
It's just, to me, that was just common sense. But, as far as Kirksey goes, like I said, man, it does suck from a leadership standpoint, the fact that he's the longest reigning Cleveland Brown, but there comes a time you got to cut ties with some guys that, not one, you've never won with them. And two, you got to stay on the field. Yeah,
and the $8 million cap hit was something there too. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on the Browns' off-season plans, what they do to improve a linebacker. I know Mac Wilson's good, but he can't be the only one. So,
right.
And the talkie-talkie's the jury's probably still out on that. So we'll keep an eye on that. And if any Bengals front office members, Mike Brown, if you ever figure out how to work a smartphone or YouTube and hear this. Duke Tobin, if you check it in, call that fucking guy. Call Christian Kirksey. Call Joe Schobert. Call any linebacker ever. I might even hit the gym and try out. So enough about that here for now. We're going to have a lot more free agency stuff coming up. Free agency actually opens on March 18th. So
coming up quick.
We will have full coverage on that. I want to get to
7 days. Shit, this time next week.
Yeah, a week from today actually. Yeah. So we might be in here next Wednesday night with a lot of news for you guys. Moving on to UFC 248, the boys had a good Saturday night.
Fun time over at Austin's.
We went over to Austin's house. Chad made a shit ton of what I would say are the best grilled wings in the area. And we made a bunch of steaks. Austin, your dog, I hope they enjoyed them. We had two dogs eat about 8 steaks because we left the door open. But we had the Duke, North Carolina game going, the UD George Mason game going. And then the big UFC 248 to top it off. So we won't talk too much about Duke, North Carolina. North Carolina sucks. They're not good. I love that.
This year they got it. You can't talk about that too
I don't
much.
have a ton of confidence in Duke going forward either.
Kind of like Ohio State, Michigan every year. You just
see, man, why we got to go there? We agree on this game, man. Leave it alone. But it is like Ohio State, Michigan, where, of course, we always want Duke to beat North Carolina, even if they're shitty. UD reeling off 20 straight. I think we all saw that coming.
Obi
Toppins, just
big,
windmill dunks, all that
shit. Come to Cleveland.
And, yeah, the Cavs may be in on him, actually. And then the biggest event of the night, though, was UFC 248. And, man, these
chicks can fight.
These chicks were banging. I mean, throwing hard punches, eating hard punches. This chick's forehead fucking swelled up and shit. So, Yolana and Weili Zhang.
Yeah.
That, in my eyes, is the best women's UFC fight ever.
I know you haven't watched UFC as long as, I have.
Right.
But listen, not only was that the greatest women's fight ever, but that was one of the top fights I've ever watched ever.
Me too. That's what I was getting ready to say.
Those girls, Johanna and Weili Zhang, brawled, dude, for 5 rounds straight, just haymakers, just hitting each other, dude. That was fucking awesome. And if anybody hasn't seen it, look at Johanna's picture before the fight and after the fight. She looked like a fucking alien. Her fucking forehead was so swole, dude. It didn't. I was like, man, how have they not stopped the fight?
I was thinking that too, because it was all swollen up, and I guess they said it was like a hematoma. I don't know what the fuck that is. I'm not a doctor, but this woman's head was, I mean, like
swole, dude.
It looked like a quarter of a size bigger than when she walked out. I'm like, is she okay? Like, that's the kind of shit where I'm like, man, this takes years off your fucking life,
dude. But you want to talk about, just like I said, a brawl, dude. I mean, they both deserve to win that.
Oh, yeah.
Weili Zhang ended up, pulling it out. Like I always say, on the close ones, it's hard to take the belt from the champion.
Right.
And I actually agreed with the decision, and I did have it 3-2. But, man, just I wish we could get every fight like that. I wish
put that on every card.
Oh, dude, I wish
I'll buy every one.
Exactly. If every card had one of those, dude, the UFC would they'd make even more money than they do now. But yeah, shout out to those girls, man, because they went at it. And then obviously you have what everyone thinks one of the greatest UFC fights ever, and then you get to the main event, and at the time you're thinking, how can this get any better? It can't get better than the woman's fight. It's like, this has to be worse. But what happened, I did not expect.
That was terrible.
Absolutely awful, man. And Yael Romero, and God, I forget how to say his
Adesanya was his opponent.
Romero and Adesanya. They call him Issy, so I'm just going to call him Issy. Just an awful fight, and people are going to go back and forth, and understandably so. I put that on Romero. You are the challenger.
Yeah.
You come out at the start of the first round with your hands up, and you stand there for literally 2 minutes, wanting Adesanya to come at you, and you just stand there. I don't get it. You're the challenger. You need to press. You need to take the belt from the champion. You're not the champion, and then after the fight you want to talk about how he ran. Dude, you knock people the fuck out. Of course he's going to leg chop you and get out of the pocket. That's what he's supposed to do.
Big as hell for no reason.
Yeah, and you deserve to lose that. Adesanya isn't a bad fighter, because wait until he fights Costa next, and then if he ever does fight John Jones, that's going to be a hell of a fight. But yeah, I put this on Romero. I feel like Adesanya fought the smart fight, like Dana said. He went after the bigger man. He chopped him down, and unfortunately for a big main event like that, the best part of that fight was the leg kicks.
Romero had nothing for it.
Nothing.
It's like you said when we were watching.
And he hit him with a couple good ones, and he could, it didn't affect him much.
And it was funny, we were watching, and I'm not gonna lie, I legitimately fell asleep during that fight. These things run late and everything, but it was boring. But I remember watching the post-fight interview, and you're like, man, we just stayed up all late and watched a big, heavyweight main card, main event, and he said, and the guy's saying, look at his fucking legs.
Yeah.
like Izzy's like, oh, well, look at his fucking legs. Look at his legs. You're like, that's what we're talking about at the end of this fight?
That's what I said. So we're talking about legs. That tells you how bad the fight was. If you haven't seen the fight, I think that you should never watch that fight.
Yeah, save your time.
Don't go Google it. Don't go YouTube it. Any of that, because you're just wasting you're wasting life. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I do think that Izzy needs. It's going to be a fight when he gets to Costa, and and I think he deserved to win that.
Yeah, his fights will be better.
Yeah, Romero should never get another title fight again, because he either can't make weight or he fails every single time. And I wasn't, and everybody talks about, oh, that's a bad motherfucker. He is. If he hits you, he is. But he just did nothing as a challenger. It pissed me off. And like I said, though, thank God for the women's fight that night, because, like I said, those girls brawled.
That made it worth the money.
Yeah,
right
that
there.
fight alone was worth every penny.
Especially since Austin paid for it.
Exactly.
And it was, I don't know, it was just kind of throwing me off. I just kind of really didn't understand how you can be that damn big and not do anything with it. So yeah, then he wants to get on the thing talking shit like he ran. I don't know. It was just,
and I
soured me on that guy for sure.
Yeah, like I said, man, thank God for the ladies' fight, and I'd like to see that again. They need to run that back.
And Romero was overweight at the weigh-in, right? How do you get 22 minutes to get to weight? Like, go take a giant shit?
Well, I think you go, you put a sweat. I think it was like point something pounds.
Like close, right?
Yeah, so you just sweat it out. You just have to make weight. That's just a thing. It's just like wrestling.
Oh, gotcha. So yeah, I mean, that one really didn't give me what I wanted out of the fight, but we still got to get together, watch some hoops, watch some fights, and I'll never forget that women's fight.
Yeah,
probably ever, because I was blown away.
We'll take that one to the grave with us.
Absolutely. So good stuff there, and we will be tuned into the next one as always. On to the biggest news that's going on in the sports world, I think, right now. The coronavirus is making its impact on the world of sports. We've seen
the world in general.
Yeah, the world in general, obviously, but we've seen, this going on here and all that. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not super educated on it. I see a lot of people saying it's deadly, and I see a lot of people saying it's nothing. You don't know what's real, what's fake, but
I don't think anyone's very educated on the coronavirus.
Yeah, unless they're a doctor.
Well, not even so much them, just because, look what it's doing.
But so coming out today, it kind of was a trickle-out effect. The Golden State Warriors announced that they would have their home games happen without fans, an ordinance with San Francisco banning gatherings of more than 1,000 people. So there's going to be NBA games, at least in San Francisco, going down with no fans in the stands. That's going to be weird, isn't it?
Well, I mean, the fans were never there anyway. Oh, the fans were there,
for like 5 years.
Yeah.
But nobody liked them before, so it's probably pretty normal.
All those fans are in LA now anyway.
We don't want them. All right, I stuck it out the last
could
7.
Be the Clippers.
Well, yeah, they can go over there, but I stuck this Lakers shit out for 7 years without the playoffs, so we don't want any fucking Warriors fans. But that and actually, it trickled out that the first 4 down at UD here in Dayton was going to have no fans as well. And I usually go check that out. My dad works down there. I usually hang out with him a little bit, see some behind the scenes action. I was looking forward to checking that out. But then actually right as we sat down and turned our mics on, the entire NCAA tournament is now going to be played with no fans.
That's going to be weird to watch.
It's going to be super weird to watch. Just empty arenas.
It might be like practice, like pick up 5-on-5.
Yeah, like just go to the YMCA.
What's your take on it? What do you think about the whole thing, and not only just the sports? I mean, what do you think about this virus? Is it this bad? Like, what do you think?
Well, let me be clear on something here. All right, I've lived through the swine flu that was supposed to kill us all, Zika that was supposed to kill us all, Ebola that was supposed to kill us all like twice. Yeah, all that shit. And I'm still here, and I'm letting you know I'm running on fucking Mountain Dew and vape juice, and there's nothing that's going to fucking stop me. I'm not scared of a damn coronavirus, all right? So I don't know the seriousness of it. I know that there's precautions to wash your hands, not touch your face as much. People are buying stores out of fucking toilet paper and shit.
Unreal. That's crazy.
I don't necessarily know what that has to do with wiping your ass, but
they think that the point is coming to where they say you have to stay home.
Yeah, and I think that I know my job personally has discussed what we would do if it got to a situation like that, would be work from home. So I guess companies are taking that into account. Here in Dayton, I guess there is one person being evaluated in Montgomery County. I saw on the news that the mayor said, not confirmed to have the coronavirus, but there is one person here in our area being evaluated for it. So it is crazy, but with this being a sports podcast, looking at the effect that it's going to have on sports, I don't want to say I'm happy, because fans that get to experience March Madness, that's a life. If you get to go to the Final Four, or all these UD fans that may have gotten tickets,
get your money back,
and I'm sure they will. But it's like that experience sucks, and it does kind of suck because we're looking at a UD team,
right?
That, I mean, what's the chances of them being this good ever again?
Yeah, no, you're right.
So now those fans get to lose it, and they're not going to have that fan support from the people that'll travel, because there's money at UD. There's people that can afford to go travel to the game.
Watch a home game, you'll see all those people.
So that kind of thing, to kind of stick to sports, as we say, is I can't help but be like, you know what? It's kind of funny to see the NCAA lose a bunch of money because they're just so fucked up in so many ways. But for the people and the fans and the teams themselves, playing without that fan support's got to suck.
It's not only the NCAA either, man. Like you said, the Warriors, and I'm sure there's more to come.
More to come, and I was actually thinking earlier, we're not too far away from the NFL draft in Vegas. I wonder if, is this shit going to be contained by then, or are we going to have a draft with no fans?
See, I don't know. I think we got about a 2-month span coming up here to where
draft
before this shit's taken care of. No, you're right about that. I don't know. I ain't gonna lie, man. At first, I was like, "All right, this has to do with the election."
Oh, for sure.
It still
does.
Yeah, and I'm sure it does now. I'm sure there's some bullshit story to it, because it happens every 2 years.
Every election year, man. Yeah, every time something's up for a vote.
Yeah. And then and to be dead honest with you, and I've told you I'm not worried about it, but today was when it kind of hit me, a little bit like, is this more serious than I thought it was? Because never in my 31 years here on Earth have they canceled or told no fans you can't go to a basketball game.
Yeah, I've never seen it either.
I've never seen anything like this, and this actually happened in Italy closed shit down.
I got a buddy, Cole Craycraft, if you actually hear this, he's in the military and he is stationed out there. He was saying on Facebook that they're like on like major lockdown, like don't leave your house unless you have an extremely good reason to leave your house type stuff out there. I didn't really, until I saw that from somebody I know, I went to school with him, they're like, oh, it's like that out there.
Yeah. No. So like I said, I didn't take it serious. I don't know if I still do, but today definitely hit me like, oh, shit.
Yeah, today makes me because I've been kind of with you like this is bullshit. They're blowing it up. It's hype. I think that about a lot of things. I have been known in some situations to be a bit of a conspiracy theorist, whether it's right or wrong. But now it's like, okay, there's millions of dollars they're talking about that they're going to lose.
Yeah.
Tickets, concessions, merchandise, hotels, and what sucks is no fans coming to the first four means a lot of lost money for the city of Dayton.
Yeah.
That could use it right now. Tornadoes, the mass shooting, a lot of things that have gone on. Mainly the tornadoes, the money can help get things back up and going. So that on that side of things, that saddens me. I know.
We just obviously this is a sports podcast, but you just wonder, when is the kids going to get called out of school? Is there going to be a work stoppage? What's going to happen? I mean, if they're doing this with basketball games, what's next? It's hard telling what's next. The biggest thing for me, I will say, is I understand what they're doing. I totally get it, but to me, I think it should be more of individual to individual, like. If you,
at your own risk type thing?
What's out there. If you go to that basketball game, it increases. I get that they're trying to stop it from spreading and all that and this, but I still feel that way. If you go to that game, the consequences, possibly.
Right. And I think they may look at it like, okay, well, if people decide to go, we have to put people at risk to staff it, to work security and all that. And I can get that. But, yeah, free country still,
Yeah.
And I get that. I would probably go. They're actually having the high school basketball tournaments down at UD Arena tonight and tomorrow. And my cousin Nick, good old Nick Gilder, is a teacher at one of the schools. I'm not going to say where because, doesn't really matter. But they're playing, and they've told them that it's immediate family only. No fans are allowed to go to UD to watch the high school tournaments.
Wow.
So it's hitting on that much of an even a local level to where – they're okay. Even the students from the schools that are in the tournaments can't even go. Your immediate family can come only. So, because my cousins were going to go check it out, and they told them no. So it's getting crazy. On the sports side of things, it's going to be weird. It's going to be something you'll never forget. Because just think about watching the national championship
with
game.
Nobody in the crowd
at Lucas Oil Stadium, because they put that in big ass stadiums that hold 100,000 people. They play those in football stadiums.
It's crazy,
and it's just going to be quiet. It's going to be weird. I feel like you're going to hear a lot more like cussing and shit though. Yeah. Like some of it might be kind of funny.
And you have to wonder if maybe they get this under control. Do they let people get the tickets back? I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I know they've said they've canceled the whole thing, but you have to.
It's always
wonder.
Subject to change.
Yeah. But whatever it is, hopefully, if it is something serious, hopefully it's figured out soon.
And going to our Facebook page here, we actually, and I didn't have a chance to put out a post to gather questions this week. I got some things going on outside the locker room that I'm having to attend to and with my family, so I wasn't sure what our recording schedule was going to be this week, so I do apologize for that. But DC Fortson, a loyal follower and frequent question asker, asked major question. I'm sure you guys are going to talk about it, but do you think it's a good move to cancel sporting events due to this virus? And I think we kind of already touched on that. So I wanted to give you the credit because you did ask it. We saw it before we knew we were going to get into that. So good idea. I'm not
losing a lot of money.
I'm not going to say good idea. And while we're on that subject, the Cincinnati Reds actually announced yesterday evening, if I'm not mistaken, that as of now, they are planning to go forward with opening day as normal.
Yeah.
Very big for the city of Cincinnati. It's always packed to the gills, the bars and stuff beforehand. So as of right now, that's still going on as planned. But I think with the NCAA dropping this, that the MLB may start looking into it as well.
I think everybody's going to be, like you said, the draft and all that.
Spring practices in the NFL.
The draft going to happen and just go as, fucking you watch it from home, and and you get drafted. I mean, they're still going to benefit off of cameras in there with not many people. That
the players will go.
Yeah, the show's going to go on.
Yeah, the players will go. Mom, dad,
and I think the NFL and college football is so far out. Obviously, it's not so far, but it's far enough out to where. I think this is going to be taken care of. I can't help but, like I said, to think that this is, something that's going on with the government, the election, whatever. Everybody's got their own theory on this thing.
Well, all these primaries are going on right now. We vote for our primary here on St. Patty's Day, so who can say the best thing about the coronavirus or whatever may be coming? I do follow a lot of Michigan writers as a Michigan football fan, and I did see that they are thinking that maybe some spring practices or spring games could be involved, but look, man, like I said, I'm not trying to go left field on the political side of things here, but our government can cure anything they fucking want to.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't if they don't want to. Cancer is $1 billion business. AIDS is $1 billion business. But there's going to be a fix for it because from some of the research I've done, it doesn't look like it's that big of a deal. It looks like the fatalities that come with it are mostly in elderly people or people who already have respiratory issues.
Yes.
So I'm not sure, all of the details on that, but we'll keep following it. But they can cure it if they want to, and I have a feeling when it's going to benefit them,
it'll just disappear.
Something will come out. Because I remember when I was in high school, I got a fucking shot up my nose for the swine flu.
Yeah.
Now looking back at it, I don't like getting shot.
Nothing's ever been to this extent.
Yeah, definitely. There was I don't know if it was mandatory or if my parents wanted me to do it. I was kind of younger. I just kind of did what I was told, but never seen it to this level. Never seen it to where, the NCAA is we're just going to forfeit these millions of dollars.
Yeah.
TV ratings now will be sky high.
Oh, yeah.
And ad revenue will be sky high. So
they'll
find a way to recoup their money and make sure that it doesn't ever make it to any other players. We'll keep following that. We're going to be in conference tournaments are going to start kicking off. Actually, the 13th is when the Duke Blue Devils will play.
Are they going to? I imagine the fans are out of this too, or
yeah, if they're doing the NCAA tournament, the conference tournaments have to. The Ivy League, like Yale and Harvard, of them had already done it.
Yeah.
But if the NCAA is going to shut down actual March Madness, these conference championships are going to be
weird, man.
Way.
Not just you're going to hear that ball bouncing pretty loud.
Yeah, and I'm going to check. I'm going to check the schedule on the NBA and find out the next time that the Warriors have a home game, and I'm going to turn on League Pass and see what's going on. Because I just want to see what it is. So we'll follow that closely. Share your opinions with us on that when we post
want to know
up.
what do you guys think of the NBA and college basketball? Not letting fans into the arena and enjoying these up close.
And this is the one time if you want to shit on the government, it's fine. Start an argument with somebody. We'll let it slide this one time, right? We kind of talked about it a little bit on here.
Go ahead.
And then one more question that DC had for us here. Was do you think that Des Bryant will have a job this season? I thought that was kind of an interesting one. I know he's been working out, been a little bit active on Twitter. The
only team, and I'm sure DC knows this, the only team that I can see him signing with is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs because he's been working his ass off with Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. So I don't think anybody else is going to have any interest, but I do think that if a team does have interest in Des Bryant, that it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right, and that's kind of what I was thinking too. That just kind of it all links up to what they've been working on. So I don't know how much Des has left in the tank. It was sad to see him blow his Achilles in his first workout with the Saints. But Des Bryant, I think that his options will be limited. I think
few.
Kansas City or maybe a return to Dallas. I don't know. That thing went pretty sour, though. He was shitting on a lot of people on his way out. But I know he had said something on Twitter to the effect of, he would go there and let bygones be bygones. But Des, up there in age, before he got hurt, wasn't really doing all that great, wasn't all that consistent. So, I think the options will be limited. I think that there's going to be younger receivers in the draft and the free agent pool that could probably get looks before him.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs might be the only destination, honestly.
Yep. So I think that's about it. A little bit of a shorter one today, not a ton going on, but we are covering everything that matters. Get with us on Facebook.
Real quick, when we get back next week, we're going to probably be able to. We might do our podcast on Thursday next week, just because. Let that first day of the free agency go through, and then there'll be a lot of conference tournaments going on, and there'll be a lot more to cover.
Yeah, because if we try to do it Wednesday night next week while these free agent deals are popping off. We're not going to be able to probably
I won't be able to
focus on anything. We've refreshed Twitter for hours on that. So we'll look to get back in here Thursday with the first full day of NFL free agency recap, college conference tournaments, how they're playing out, and then any updates on how things are going to play out with the fan interaction. I'm just an idiot that can't talk. We will cover with you guys as well, and then get with us on Facebook. Like I said, let us know your opinions on what we talked about today. How do you feel about the virus? Anything else we touched on? We love interacting with you guys, and we should have more of a set schedule next week to get questions in, a couple days earlier. That way you guys have time to see the post and all that good stuff. So tune in with us next week. Locker Room Talk Uncut.